There was a time, long ago before the fire faded, when the Ubisoft open world formula had not been set in stone. When the company was still considered gold, there was no Valhalla, no Skull and Bones. In that era, when YouTube was just 2 years old and Ubisoft didn't preserve its creativity for only its smaller IPs, Assassin's Creed was born. I have a lot of history with the series, but I haven't played any game after Origins.
Enough sand to fill a lifetime.
So this video is not about how the new open world entries suck. If you're looking for that, then please don't click away, this video will still be good. But my annoyance is with the trend towards bigger games in general. Sometimes I just want to go back to a concise and focused experience. No mucking about with strangers in the world. Give me a game where all the cogs turn in service of one story. Assassin's Creed 1 delivers that in clubs, and they could have been spades with the director's cut if Ubisoft hadn't thought improving the game equals adding more stuff. But like the Flash trying to fuck his own ass, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Watch a while longer and you might learn something.
Bagging it up beep beep. The first entry was positively received upon release, but Assassin's Creed really turned into a beloved series with the introduction of Ezio. Altair's story is a bit divisive from what I've seen.
Wait a minute!
Half the fans don't really care about the story and see the first game as just a foundation on top of which a great game would be built. The other half are having brains. For those who didn't like AC1's story, I actually have a tinfoil hat theory, which is fitting for Assassin's Creed, that they didn't play the game at the time of its release, because it's not possible to experience it the same way anymore. Unlike all the other AC games which have a character-driven story, AC1 has a plot-driven one, and Altair's story is not actually about Altair. It's about uncovering the true nature of the Assassin and Templar conflict, because at this point, they weren't eternal enemies like leftists and rightists versus normal people like in future entries.
Vieri troubles us because he's a Templar, and we are assassins.
The game plays on our understanding of Templars in real-world history, where they were just a knightly order doing knightly things. Altair and Desmond think the same.
I thought Templars were old dudes with funny hats.
So the twists and turns of finding out that the Templars are a secret society with members from both sides of the war and sensing cracks in our master's wisdom till he finally goes,
"Oh, I wouldn't say free. More like under new management,"
is enough to hold our interest. And a drawn-out story would have detracted from the sense of urgency that permeates both the medieval and the real worlds. The former with what are the Templars planning, and are the assassins truly different from them?
Let you go so you can tell him of my plan?
I won't say a thing.
No, you won't.
And the latter with what is Abstergo planning, and what will happen to Desmond, and will Lucy ever go?
We only have an hour, so let's make it worth it.
What the hell? Someone's been in here.
Speaking of the modern day, it is again something you cannot achieve with an open world. We are literally a prisoner snooping around in a small confined area, trying to find out what Abstergo is all about. Snooping around is totally optional, but I wouldn't recommend skipping it. There really isn't another game with this vibe of a mega corporation influencing world events from the shadows, or proper conspiracy theory like Elon Musk and the... Today everyone knows about Abstergo, which does not have any real-life parallels. They know about the assassins, the Templars, their iconography and their struggles. So if you want to enjoy the story of AC1, you need to put yourself in the shoes of a 2007 player. If you can, the story is great. It's not a grand and epic journey that spans the entirety of the Levant with awesome side hijinks like killing some random bandits for some random stranger. It is about being an assassin, and the Assassin Order has an established way of doing things. You get orders from your master, head to the target location, report to the local big boy, investigate the city for info about your target and report back.
Grand Master of the Knights Hospitalier?
Indeed. And I have already determined when and how to strike.
And finally, go to your target and cradle them in your arms. The smaller scope allows for a cohesive experience where the different parts of the game feed into each other, like my fist feeds into these harassers. Oh look, I cured alcoholism. Altair's personal growth is tied deeply with the mystery of the Templars. The more he learns, the more humble and Sigma he becomes.
Not 9, 8.
What do you mean?
You were not my target. I will not take your life.
We are demoted at the beginning, so our character progression is tied to climbing up the ranks, although some of it is weird. Since we are reliving the life of an ancestor, our health bar is a synchronization bar of how in line we are with Altair's true actions. I also read somewhere that as you take out certain targets, you'll see more beggars and madmen in the streets, making you question if your actions are having a positive impact or not. I went back and checked the older districts and didn't notice a change, so let me know if this is true, because it would be awesome if it was. But my point is that the larger your game is, the more difficult it becomes to tie everything together. Like I said, I'm not making this video to bash the newer games, and I love Origins for what it is, but the pacing is terrible. The ending feels rushed and interesting characters disappear faster than we can say noodles.
Hamburger.
Much of the fun in Origins comes from its open world features. Much of the fun in AC1 comes from features that are unique to itself, like planning the best way to kill a target with all the information you've gathered through investigations. But debit where it is due, I can understand the complaints that the game is repetitive. I personally don't find it so because the routine immerses me in the assassin fantasy, but I understand why doing the same investigations again and again without any significant challenge other than the drunkards and madmen annoys some people. Ubisoft had the chance to fix that with the director's cut version, and their solution was more. Bigger is better. Bigger is better. That has become a common belief from the side of the developers, or at least publishers. A lot of gamers might also say that bigger is better, but don't listen to what they say, dear devs. Look at how they feel. A good experience will always be cherished more than simply size. Preferably there'll be both, but size can sometimes come in the way of a fun time.
Does size matter to you?
Yes, I do think size matters because there is such a thing as too big.
Does size matter to you?
I think to a certain extent it does. Like, you gotta have something, but it's much more so about like the motion and the stroke.
I mean, to me, like, size doesn't matter. Like, okay, you gotta have at least two. For me, it's like the vibe.
No, I don't think it requires all that, in my opinion, but.
I won't deny that the new investigations relieve some of the tedium, but I think the game would have benefited more from adding more context to the existing investigations. Yes, not gameplay revisions, but more story. Because although the Templars as a whole are very interesting, the investigations don't really provide much insight on them individually. Some provide a bit of character sketch, but the others just tell us about the target's location, the position of the guards. And yes, that's absolutely needed for the assassin fantasy, but they could provide tidbits about the target's personality in addition to that. There are a few Templars who are memorable, like the Muslim guy who is resented by his peers and his very religion for being gay.
How could I finance a war in service to the same god that calls me an abomination?
So he rejects Saladin to join the Templars and thank Juno that this game didn't come out in 2025. I don't deny that the gameplay variety helps because my pants are totally fine, but with adding depth to the story, these missions could have helped better.
The men we face, their minds are not their own. If you can avoid killing them.
Yes. Though he has betrayed the tenets of the creed, it does not mean we must as well.
Their minds are not their own. If you can avoid killing them.
Though he has betrayed the tenets of the creed, it does not mean we must as well.
I guess I do have to concede a little bit because adding more detail to the story and characters is also adding more. And I can't in good conscience disagree even a tiny bit, like my dick, that 2's additions like shops and customization and more indoor environments were great additions. My sentiment is that there is a line with size that once you cross starts to take away from the game, especially when it goes full open world with side quests and side activities and etc. What is the point of all this filler if it's an obstacle to enjoy the main content? And I mean this for beloved stories as well. Get your tomatoes ready because I'll say that games like Witcher 3 and Red Dead 2 suffer from this as well. As Geralt, I feel that finding Ciri is imperative, but the game certainly wants me to look around the world and stake all my life savings on Gwent. And everyone goes on about bloody Baron this, writing quality that. Am I the only one who found Skellige to be a huge dip in quality which could have been fixed if the game was scoped better? The mystery boring, the villain unmemorable, the choice for who should rule as obvious as the fact that Red Dead 2 story would have been better as a movie. Now, is a great and consistent story better than a great game with an inconsistent story? I can see both sides of that coin, but I just wanted to show some love for a great game with a consistent story. With a consistent theme, consistent gameplay loop, consistent everything.
Then speak to the Weaver. He can name Masun's accomplice.
He's disappeared, hiding for fear of being dragged into this.
Probably inside one of his own baskets.
Are you fucking blind? You can't see me!
I guess even Assassin's Creed 1 can't be as consistent as me because I drop bangers every 2 weeks. 3 at the most. Just like clockwork.
Faster!
I've also opened a Patreon if you want to support me, but since most of you came from my poor man's experience of Monster Hunter Wilds video, I want to make it clear that I'm not actually poor. Yeah, I don't have the best system, but I'm grateful to have a PC to play games on at all. Of course, I'd like the support, but I don't want to give you a false perception that I'm struggling in life. So, as you can see, I'm clearly a genuine and not greedy guy, so you should definitely support me. Thank you and bye-bye.
Have you people nothing better to do?